This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Wednesday, the 26th day of February in the year 2020. I'm Gordon Mosley. Here is what we're tracking tonight. With neighboring Brazil reporting its first case of the new coronavirus, Guyana continues to step up monitoring in the border regions and at the ports of entry. Today, Minister of Public Health Walter Lawrence said Guyana has all systems in place to deal with any case of the coronavirus, reminding that Guyana remains free from the deadly virus. Earlier today, the health ministry in neighboring Brazil reported that the 61-year-old man who returned to Brazil from Italy had tested positive for the coronavirus there. He has since been quarantined in Brazil. Guyana's Minister of Public Health today assured that Guyana has stepped up surveillance and the monitoring of all travelers.
As we had indicated before, that we have stepped up our surveillance. We have identified sites for the housing of patients should we need to do that. Just this morning we had another review of the systems in place, and we have made some recommendations. In terms of the human resources, we have placed human resources at all of our entry points. That is the Molson Creek, the Eugene Correa International Airport, the Cheddi Jagan International Airport, and the Letem Crossing. Even at our port authority in Georgetown, we have stepped up the number of personnel which we have there. And so we have been able to address those issues. Just last week, we concluded training at the National Reference Lab for our personnel in terms of being able to test for the coronavirus. So we have been working assiduously to build our capacity in case of the eventuality.
While the coronavirus was first reported in China, it has since spread to several other countries. Minister Lawrence confirmed that last week the Ministry of Public Health concluded training at the National Reference Lab for testing for the virus. The Public Health Ministry, she noted, has been preparing its personnel to properly deal with the coronavirus, and they remain on high alert. More news coming up in a moment.
Monday, March the 2nd is an important day for the people of Guyana. It is Election Day, the day on which we will choose who will represent us in our national parliament and regional democratic councils. My husband, David Granger, respects women. He has worked towards improving our lives throughout every region of Guyana, hinterland and coastland, urban and rural. Because of the APNU plus AFC, mothers can put more money to other expenses because more children are staying in school through the David G. 5Bs initiative, which provides boats, buses, bicycles, books and breakfast to school children free of cost. Because of the APNU plus AFC, women are becoming financially independent through training in entrepreneurial skills and access to loans and grants for small businesses. And this is why women of Guyana will make the right choice, the only choice. On March 2nd, we're voting for the palm and the key, APNU plus AFC.
Attention all GCOM first-time registrants. The Guyana Elections Commission is advising all persons who were registered for the first time during house-to-house registration and the claims and objections exercises in 2019 and would be voting at the upcoming elections that they can upload their national identification cards from the registration office in their respective areas between the hours of 8 hours to 19 hours daily. This notice is not for persons who already have an ID card, those who were previously issued with an ID card, or those who are without their ID card for various reasons.
Don't stop the progress.
Women are the bedrock of our society.
We are the mothers, the nurturers, the leaders. Women of Guyana, on Thursday, February 27, we gather at Parade Ground for our APNU AFC Grand Women's Rally. First Lady, Her Excellency Sandra Granger, will deliver the feature address. This is history. This is the women rallying for our APNU AFC Coalition. Thursday, February 27, Parade Ground from 5 p.m. Women of Guyana, we are moving forward together.
GBTI is your Guyanese bank, a bank that understands every customer's unique needs, opportunities, challenges, and financial concerns. At GBTI, we see you for you. Whether you're buying a new home or car, planning your next vacation or retirement, saving for your child's future, or whether you're ready to take that bold step of investing in your dream business idea, we are with you every step of the way. We hear your stories and watch you focus on your dreams as we share your aspirations. We are more than just banking. We are a family. We are part of your community. Our commitment extends way beyond the walls of our branches and is demonstrated every day in the opportunities we provide to our individual and business customers. The support, time, and commitment we give back to communities across Guyana to help improve the lives of our Guyanese families. Because we see Guyana through your eyes.
Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up. Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guy Oil Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guy Oil's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Tired of long lines? Register with MyGTT at mygtt.co.gy. That's mygtt.co.gy to view and pay your bills from anywhere. Enter to win an Amazon gift card worth $25 or a bounty voucher worth 5,000 Guyana dollars when you sign up today. GTT, do more.
Welcome back. Well, after more than 1 hour of deliberations, the Guyana Elections Commission decided last evening to increase the number of polling places in a number of areas, following a request by the People's Progressive Party. At least 12 new polling places could be added to the existing number. The opposition party made the request at a 2-hour meeting yesterday at the GCOM headquarters, citing concerns about GCOM's earlier decision to reduce the number of polling places at private residences. Opposition-nominated commissioner at GCOM says Gunaraj told reporters last evening that the chief elections officer has been instructed to increase the number of polling places along the east coast of the Marara in Monrepo and Fowles and at Chesney in Region 6.
The issues that were raised by the stakeholder, quarantine, Monrepo, and 2 issues in Fowles. And those are being rectified.
What is the rectification?
Monrepo's additional polling places are being implemented. That means that there will not be that congestion at the 2 polling places, Monrepo Primary and Monrepo Nursery. They will be moving to some other locations. Some of the polling stations will be moved from those 2 schools to other locations.
Private residences?
At this point, it has not been determined whether they'll be private residences.
It is unclear where exactly those polling places will be established. The Guyana Elections Commission has asked the Chief Elections Officer to look into the issue within a short time frame. Commissioner Vincent Alexander.
It means that there will be a review of the places which are said to be congested, and alternate arrangements may be made, including tentage, including the possibility of tentage to facilitate the less congested conditions.
So that means you'll move some of the polling stations to other polling places?
Yes, that's possible. Yeah.
Yesterday, the General Secretary of the PPP, Bara Jagdeo, complained that a reduction of private residences as polling stations could result in some voters being forced to travel long distances just to cast their ballot. He said it does not matter whether polling places would be set up in tents or in other places, but there was a need to increase those polling places. The Elections Commission has approved more than 2,300 polling stations for Monday's elections. Well, the APNU AFC Coalition broke its silence on the decision by the Guyana Elections Commission to cut back on the number of private residences being used for the upcoming elections. In a statement this afternoon, the APNU AFC campaign said both the PPP and the chairman of the Private Sector Commission have been making misleading statements about the use of private residences. The APNU AFC appeared to be agreeing with the position of the Elections Commission. The coalition group said it has noticed the fact that the overall turnout at the private residences located in known areas affiliated with the PPP is substantially and consistently higher, over 80%, than the average turnout at polling stations located in public buildings. According to the coalition, the turnout is also higher than the regional and national average voter turnout. The APNU AFC wants to know how is it that the PPP is able to consistently get more votes at private residences polling stations but cannot command the same at polling stations located at public buildings. The Guyana Elections Commission, while not reversing its decision to cut back on the number of private residences being used for the elections as polling places, has decided to set up additional polling places in 2 communities along the east coast of the Demerara and a third in Berbice. Well, as Guyanese prepare to head to the polls on Monday, the People's Progressive Party Civic is pushing a message of job creation and education as it winds down its campaign. At a public meeting in Puerto Rico last evening, the party's presidential candidate Irfan Ali told supporters that once his party gets into power, it will work on restoring jobs to the people.
From day one, we are going to put back people to work. The 30,000 jobs they took away from people, we are going to work on restoring the jobs and bringing new jobs so that people can earn and have money in their pockets and support their families and support their communities.
Mr. Ali also focused on the mining sector, with Puerto Rico serving as a gateway to many parts of the mining communities. Ali said many jobs were lost in the mining sector, both directly and indirectly.
The mining sector has declined by more than 60%. 60% of all the dredges that were operating in 2015 are no longer operating today. More than 10,000 without their job. That is 60 operations that would have closed down. The small and medium-sized miners are suffering. When they suffer, Puerto Rico suffer, the taxi drivers suffer, the boat operators suffer. So in these elections, we are voting for the return of the mining sector.
On the education front, the presidential candidate said his party has a plan that it will put in place to ensure the development of an educated nation.
We are going to create a framework that people must want to come to Guyana to pursue their educational ambition. When we do that, we'll be bringing in more people on the market. More people in the market means more rental. More rentals mean more food purchase. We are going to make education and health export commodity.
He also noted that his party's education plan will see students benefiting from a $50,000 education grant, and there will be more access to education. Mr. Ali said as voters head to the polls next Monday, he hopes that they'll be doing so confidently to support his party. The government's holding company Nestle has announced that Windsor Estates, which has developed a housing community at Providence on the east bank of the Demerara, will be moving to the east coast to develop a similar housing community. In a statement today, Nestle announced that a sod for the project will be turned tomorrow. The developer of Windsor Estates, Daddy Saw, will be spearheading the new project. Although details are to be revealed at the sod turning, the project is expected to be similar to the one on the east bank of the Demerara and will see the construction of several high-end homes and condos in a gated community. This is the third consecutive week that Nestle will be involved in a sod turning exercise in the Ogle community. Last week, the sod was turned for a $100 million Hilton Hotel project, and the week before that, there was a similar sod turning for a $75 million AC Marriott Hotel project. Nestle, which owns the lands in the area, is pushing to develop a business and traveler-oriented community at Ogle, where there is an international airport and where the Exxon company is currently building its headquarters. In the mining sector right now, the Guyana Goldfields Company is reporting a 28% increase in gold production in the final quarter of 2019, but the production figure is still lower than in the corresponding period in 2018. In a statement yesterday, Guyana Goldfields revealed that the total production for 2019 stood at just over 124,000 ounces, which is a 17% drop compared to the previous year. The company said it is now exploring financing and strategic alternatives to fund additional waste stripping at its open pit and for underground development. According to the Guyana Goldfields Company, as a result of work done in its ongoing comprehensive review, it is ending its prior strategy of implementing smaller mining benches and a pushback in 2 phases. The company has also concluded that waste stripping needs to be suspended temporarily to allow ore production from the bottom of the current pit, and going forward, the Guyana Goldfields Company now expects that ore production from the open pit mining will be interrupted for between 4 and 6 months, starting in the second quarter of this year and resuming at the end of the third quarter, as the company focuses on waste stripping. Recently deported drug trafficking convict Shahid was arrested yesterday by the police as investigators probed an allegation of assault at a bar in Kitty. Police Commander for Region 4 Assistant Commissioner Edgar Thomas confirmed the arrest. He said the incident is alleged to have taken place 2 nights ago, and the police investigators are now conducting a full probe. Thomas would not offer details on the case, but he said the police received a report that Khan had physically assaulted someone, and as part of the probe, the investigators arrested Khan. Since being deported to Guyana after serving 10 years in a U.S. jail on a drug trafficking conviction, Roger Khan has kept a relatively low profile. He remains on the probe by the Criminal Investigations Department over his alleged involvement in a number of unsolved murders and other crimes that took place during the crime spree more than a decade and a half ago. The 2 men who were arrested on Sunday in the Parika Bank Dam with more than 60 pounds of cocaine in their possession have been charged and remanded to jail. 35-year-old mechanic Latterman Sankar of Unity East Bank Demerara and 48-year-old boat captain Munishwar Dujraj of Ruby East Bank Essequibo appeared before Magistrate Krista Lambert today to face the drug trafficking charges. The prosecution's case is that on the 22nd of February at Silver Beach, Parika, the 2 men were nabbed with 27.8 kilograms of cocaine in their possession for the purpose of trafficking. The cocaine was found stashed in the containers in the bow of the boat. The attorney representing the 2 men claimed that his clients had no knowledge about the presence of the cocaine in the boat. He said the mechanic was only hired to check a problem with the boat. The Kano prosecutor objected to bail and explained to the court that the 2 men were under surveillance by Kano agents. The prosecutor said the evidence is overwhelming and bail should not be granted. The magistrate refused to grant bail and remanded the 2 men to jail until the 13th of March, when the matter will come up again. Across the Region is coming up next.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right. Walk in upright ways. Knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong. Be the one to live right.
As our country transforms into a digital state, we must equip our children with the skills for this new frontier.
There is a greater technological advancement available for everyone.
That was a paid political ad.
Vote
voting without an identification card. If you are registered and eligible to vote but do not have your identification card with you on election day, for whatever reason, you can still vote. The Guyana Elections Commission has put measures in place to accurately identify voters without an identification card. When you go to the polling station, you would be asked your name and address and referred to the presiding officer who will interview you. The presiding officer would look at your face and compare with the photograph alongside the name on the folio to confirm that they are the same. If the presiding officer is satisfied that you are the person you claim to be, you would be asked to take the oath of identity or affirmation. You would then be allowed to vote. For more information, contact GCOM on 225-0277 to 223-9653, email pro@gcom.org.gy, or visit GCOM's website at www.gcom.org.gy.
Things really moving fast in Guyana, and we all got to keep up. In 2015, I didn't even get to vote because I was in the bush. And my boss man did everything to make sure I couldn't come out in time for elections day. I couldn't even get somebody to vote me by proxy. This year, I take in charge. I am voting because it is my right, and I want to have my say for Guyana's future. March 2nd, I am ready.
I'm David Granger, and I approve this message.
That was a paid political ad.
Across the region right now, a cruise liner with over 6,000 people on board was denied access to the port of Colin Ocho Rios in Jamaica on the island's north coast after one of the crew members had been placed in isolation. A brief government statement in Jamaica said the cruise ship, which arrived there at 8:30 on Tuesday morning with 4,500 passengers and the crew of more than 1,600, had been inspected by the port health officials, where it was discovered that the crew member was placed in isolation on board. The crew member had a cough and a fever and associated muscle pains with a travel history to a country of interest related to the novel coronavirus. The public relations officer and advocate officer at the Northeast Regional Health Authority in Jamaica told the Jamaica Gleaner newspaper that they saw that there was someone on board a cruise ship who was in quarantine because that person came from the Philippines and 14 days had not yet elapsed. And in neighboring Brazil, the health ministry across there today confirmed the first case of a fast-spreading new coronavirus in Latin America, diagnosing a 61-year-old man in Sao Paulo who returned recently from Italy. The diagnosis comes during Brazil's Carnival holiday, a peak time for domestic travel, when millions of travelers throng to major cities for street celebrations. The patient, a Sao Paulo resident, had traveled to Lombardy in northern Italy from February 9 to the 21st and had symptoms compatible with the disease, the Ministry of Health said. Italy has been hardest hit by the outbreak in Europe, with more than 350 cases reported and 11 deaths. The first Brazilian patient remains in good health and will be monitored in isolation for the next 14 days. And finally tonight, international news. The BBC reports this evening that more details are emerging about the first French person to die from the coronavirus. Earlier today, health officials said the 60-year-old teacher died overnight in a Paris hospital. He had not traveled to a virus hotspot. He worked at a school north of Paris. He is the second person to die from the virus in France. The first was a Chinese tourist. In the past 24 hours, 4 new cases were reported in the country. 2 of those patients had returned from Italy. The total number of cases in France is now at 17. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting.